Sup, RLCS fans, Lawler here as always, and somehow we managed to do it again. Despite all the odds, despite all the chaos, a team with a probability of, at one point, 1.54% chance to win the major does it. I don't know who wrote the script. If it's Gibbs, I'm yelling at, I'm gonna blame Gibbs. But like, how in the world do we have back-to-back events where the most unlikely circumstance plays out? Wild times in the day of Rocket League, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down exactly that. So without any hesitation, let us jump into the group stages. We are already jumping into our top 16s. If you guys did not see Swiss, pretty straightforward. Favorites made it through. The biggest shock and surprise, being honest, there wasn't any. I don't think there was any big surprises about teams that didn't make it through. The favorites made it through, outside of Team Evo, a team that made top 4, did not make it through. JNAP's last event, there's some cool storylines, I guess, coming in. But overall, things for the most part pretty straightforward. In Group A, and what was a crazy start to the beginning, and what's wild is, like, we knew that there was a lot on the line. There was a bunch of teams in the same side of the bracket in the Group B stage, where, like, in my power ranking, 6 out of the 8 teams in NA were in the same side. And what's bonkers about that is a majority of them still in the running for the major all got eliminated before we even made it to the final top 8. Like, so many teams eliminated early, it's kind of bananas. We saw, and we'll get to it, Complexity looked like Complexity, consistent as always, beating the teams that are below them and making it through. This match we'll come back to, okay? 3-2, could have went either way, down to the wire. Remember that. Complexity does beat Pirates on a Boat, and Pirates on a Boat, a little bit of an easy run here, but for Deleted to go out completely ruins their major chances. So they're done, right? Deleted is no longer a chance for the major. Pirates on a Boat has to win the entire event in order to make it to Birmingham. On the low side of that, you then see Gen.G eventually get revenge back on Gen.G on Deleted. Deleted was a team that beat them last time in a reverse sweep. This time it does not happen. Gen.G shows that they are the better team. They're trying this new playstyle. It's working out. JNAPS, in his final regional ever, does end up making top 8. So that was a W for them. 3-2 close series. Again, we talk about Rocket League being a game of inches. It comes down to the small, minute little details. And, like, you're going to see the results of what happened for Gen.G if you guys haven't seen the title. But, like, it just goes to show how close these games could be. Okay? It is not as easy as black and white, this team's the best, this team's better. When it comes down to who is playing the best on the day, I think wholeheartedly makes sense when we talk about GK's run and now Gen.G's run. Guys had the gas on the day that it mattered. With that said, we look into Group B, and this is a team that we talked about having some pretty wild situations. Number 1, 9 lives. Many people's favorites to go up against Space Station for a chance to make top 4. They get knocked out immediately in 14th to 16th. They're immediately eliminated. So, like, a team that was pretty consistent, a team that was performing pretty well, knocked out immediately. So you now have 9 lives knocked out. You now have Deleted knocked out. You have Team Evo knocked out. Space Station Gaming's biggest competition has all been knocked out almost instantaneously. So if you're Space Station, you're like, bro, I just gotta win a couple games. We're living it up. Our chances of going to the major are in a very, very good spot. That further happens when probably one of their bigger competitions in Shopify also goes 0-2. Those were the 4 teams that Space Station had directly around them, above them, that they were like, shoot, we need these teams to lose, and we need them to lose early. So when you look at the, like, playoff scenario graphics that D-Rec puts out that I showed you guys in a video last week, it goes from most unlikely to most likely. And all the most unlikely ones happened first. And we're like, okay, so as long as Gen.G doesn't win, as long as Pirates on a Boat doesn't win, like, we're chilling. We made it. We're good. So your biggest competition's out of the way. Space Station's a top 6 seed. They've got a favorable matchup. Life is good if you're Space Station. Ultimates, because they had to play NRG in a close game 5, Ultimates finally starting to look like they're putting some stuff together. end up battling through, and Strictly Business, the team we did the team stream for. We got a lot of love from the Space Station guys because we knocked down 9 lives, so everybody was happy about that. We had a lot of fun with it, and they made it through. So Strictly Business, another EU team, finally making it through. Which then brings us to our playoffs, and it's tough to not just full reveal this, but I want you guys to take a look at these results because they're pretty crazy. First things first, high side of the bracket, Pirates on a Boat, Space Station stole the show. Game 7, it was an absolute battle. Both teams looked pretty competitive, but Pirates on a Boat somehow managing to find a win. So Space Station starts to go, well, shoot. It's unlikely they're going to win the whole thing. You know, Complexity historically has not done well, or Gen.G hasn't historically done well against Complexity. We should be okay, but we still got to win our match. It's a tough match against Ultimates, but like even if we lose this, you know, this should probably, we should be fine. Complexity will win here, and then it'll be Energy, Complexity, Ultimates, and us. Space Station. We're happy. So the losses happen. Complexity drops down. Gen.G starts going on a freaking tear. Gen.G starts to showcase what they're working with against Strictly Business. We take that with a grain of salt because their playstyle is very disruptive, very demo-centric, and it works pretty well against Strictly Business. Ultimates makes quick work of the Pioneers. We then go to Championship Sunday. Championship Sunday, the scenarios at this point are if Pirates on a Boat wins the entire event, they go to the major. If Gen.G makes the grand final and loses, then we have a tiebreaker between Space Station and Gen.G. If Gen.G wins the entire event, Gen.G kicks out Space Station, heroic from behind victory. They go to the major. So those are our 3 major scenarios at this point. Complexity is locked in. We know Ultimates is locked in. We know Energy is locked in. Gen.G comes out and go, wait a sec. 4-1? You're going to hold them to 2 goals? 1-goal games, very close. Like 3 1-goal games is pretty crazy to start that off. But they do it. Quick work. Saying there's a chance. Their probability, shoutouts to Shift and the guys over there for this graphic, when Gen.G originally lost, and I said we would talk back about this, when Gen.G lost here, their chances of making the major at one point were 1.54%. That's insanely low. Because now it's like, hey, you're facing elimination against a team that you kind of just lost to. It's kind of hit and miss. You should win that 9 out of 10 times. You should make at least top 8, which they do. So it starts to go up again. But when you get to this point and you win over Complexity, and the Ultimates win over Space Station, your direct competition is removed, so they can't get any more points. So it goes from 1.54% all the way up to 15.46%. You then beat Complexity in the quarterfinals, which shoots it all the way up to 46, almost 47%. And then at one point, you then beat the Pirates in a 4-0. Like, Pirates looked abysmal in that series. Credit to Gen.G. Very aggressive, very locked down, very unselfish play. Chronix looked the best he's ever looked. Reddles is showing, you know, performances and the ability to really set up his team for success. And like Cheese, pressure, and there's been a lot of criticism of Cheese in the high pressure moments, how he can't do it, this and that. I think the guys played really freaking well. It was a true team effort, and everybody played their role and did a dang good job of doing it. On the other side of that, though, Ultimates looked the best they have also ever looked. Ultimates looked great. Who did I say? Chronic? Sorry. Magic Bear. Thank you. Chronic did look good, though, on Ultimates. Ultimates finally looked like they were playing as a team for the first time. It looked like they actually had an idea of, like, let's work together. Thank you for the clarification, Dakota. Yeah, Magic Bear and she's doing a really good job at Gen.G. Both showing involvement, both really stepping up to the plate. Ultimates on the other side. Chronic looked incredible. First Killer really utilizing his skill set to help his team out. Also, I forget who tweeted it, but it's like once a year, there's always this moment where where First Killer just shows why he could be considered the best player in the world. Like, he just has a worldie of a day and does some things that are absolutely nuts. But you saw Ultimates dominating against what we would argue teams that are considered top 4 teams. While Gen.G is fighting the third best, and then Pirates on a Boat, who are just a blip on the radar. So we're like, Ultimate should win this, right? And then it goes to Game 7 OT. And at this point, again, reminder, If Gen.G loses, they have a date immediately after with Space Station for a chance to make the major, a single best of 7. But if they win, if they control their fate, then they go to the major. A lot of pressure, and they actually do it. At one point, Ultimates was up 3-1 in the series. They lost both game 1 and game 2 in OT, and the second game had a 7-minute and 45-second OT. I don't know about you, but mentally, that is exhausting to play an extra game and a half of Rocket League and then just still lose and come away with nothing. I mean, I don't know what Greg and Kevpert are saying to these kids, but my God. Resiliency, whatever you want to call it, facing adversity, like, needs to be commended. Whether you love, hate, whether you like this, whatever your reason, that is commendable. That is something that I give nothing but respect to, having those types of results in those types of situations, because you gotta understand what it means to go to a major, what it does for your season, the chances it does, the additional points you get. I think it's minimum 5 points, which really helps you on the leaderboard, which gives you seating advantages. It is such a big deal to do that. It gives you such a room of, like, a margin of error leniency type mentality. Not that you want it, but, like, it makes a huge difference when it comes to separation between the teams below you, especially for a team that started a little bit slow. So winning this is absolutely huge. But for you to be down 1-3 in the series, clutch up, and then win in back-to-back OTs after you conceded the first 2, I mean, that's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Phenomenal series. Selfishly, I wish they would have lost, because then we would have got another series between Gen.G and Space Station. I joked about it with Shopify and Space Station and stuff way back. As a fan, just having that much weight and that much pressure on a series just makes it inherently better. We didn't get that, but we still got a pretty dang good situation. 1.54% chance to make the major. At the end of this is what ends up happening for the results. Energy on top at 37, your number 1 seed. Ultimates does manage to hold on to number 2, as people predicted early. But in a turn of events, Gen.G with only 5 points total, 5, coming into this weekend, ends up winning an event, bumping up to 20, and showing that they are the 3rd seed, bypassing complexity. Right on the outskirts, you got Space Station, 9 lives, Pirates deleted, and Team Evo. Team Evo, man, you missing out. Really rough. And Rebellion, despite having moments, it just goes to show the benefit of winning an event and what it does. Absolutely crazy. On top of that, just for everybody watching, we will be talking a couple things this week on the YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you guys made it this far in the video, it's always appreciated. Appreciate everybody hanging out in chat. But in this week, we're going to be retrying to do a top 10 power ranking. I don't know with what the recent situations are with GK. Like, the whole mentality of any given Sunday is alive and well. So I'm going to have a really tough time trying to do power rankings this week, but we will do our best to do that. Also, we're going to be taking a first look at the seeding. We're going to talk about book holes. We're going to talk about why the 1 versus the 9, the 2 versus the 10 seeds happen, even though people are like, KC should be fighting SSA. We're going to talk about those types of things and why those things play out. At the end of the day, everybody is 8 seeds away from their competition, and why the first rounds are the way they are. We'll talk about that as well, because a lot of people upset. I put out a tweet being like, what are people's thoughts? And boy, did they have some thoughts. So you guys want to make sure you don't miss out on that. As always, let me know in the comments down below. Thoughts, questions, ideas, and opinions. Curious to hear what you thought about the run. I swear the game's scripted. While you're down there, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications. Make sure you don't miss out on anything. Check out the socials, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.